What's up, Headless Horde? Welcome back. We are here at ICCCCon in Nashville, Tennessee, and I am lucky enough to interview the great Anna Graves.
Oh, thank you. It's so good to be here. Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. So, for those of you who may not know, she voiced the character in The Clone Wars, Duchess Satine, and we're going to ask a few questions.
Yes, I'm
All
here.
right. So, my first question is, how did you get your start in acting?
I grew up a kid who loved to sing and dance and do theater, and I was always a performer, and I loved being on stage. And when I moved to LA, I thought, well, everybody just is an on-camera actor. That's what they do. That's what you do when you move to Los Angeles, right? But then I met voice actors and realized, oh wait, I wanted to do that when I was a kid. I grew up in Memphis, and so I would, do these fake commercials on my boom box and stuff like that.
That's a radio for you kids out there.
That's a radio. It's an old-fashioned tuning radio, friends. So I just stopped doing theater at night and shifted my focus as an actor to voice acting. And I fell in love with it. I found myself very comfortable in front of the microphone. And I still do theater and live things every now and then, but voiceover is where it's at for me.
So any specific actor that kind of motivated to do the voice acting?
Oh, sure. I mean, lots of, like improvisation actors have always been my favorite. I always saw myself as moving to Chicago and joining Second City and being on SNL. And I knew Chris Parnell growing up. He's also from Memphis, so he was a great mentor when I moved out to LA. And he does a tremendous amount of voiceover work now. But I mean, guys like Robin Williams and just creative, inspirational actors who, you couldn't really fit them in a box, right?
Right.
So I think that's kind of how I am. When I met with my voiceover agent, they said, well, what kind of voice acting do you want to do? And I said, I want to do everything. I want to do live announcing and promo and commercial and animation, video games, everything that you could throw at me. That's what I want to do.
Nice. So how did you actually land the role of Duchess Satine?
I auditioned for it. I was a hopeful actor in LA and just auditioned for it. I got the call back, and it was great. The callback was at LA Studios, where we recorded all the shows together. I auditioned for Duchess Satine, so actual lines from the show that ended up in this show were in the audition. And while I was there, the casting director did have me read for Ahsoka. She said, I have this character, this young Padawan character in the show. I'd like you to read for it. And I just couldn't. I went outside and I worked on it, just for a few minutes, and I just couldn't get it. I couldn't grasp it. And I remember leaving the audition not feeling good about Ahsoka, but feeling awesome about Duchess Satine. And that was my in to working on the show and led to many other characters through the years.
Right. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So when you are doing your lines, you had a lot of scenes with James Arnold Taylor. Are you guys in the same room doing this, or are you kind of doing yours, he's doing his, and you don't really see each other, or? Yeah,
typically in animation and video games, you're by yourself. You're in the studio with the engineer, with the director, the writer. But specifically for the Clone Wars, it was amazing because we were always all together.
That's
As
awesome.
many actors who could be there together, they would coordinate it, and they would schedule us sometimes months in advance. They were like, hey, Anna, Clone Wars wants to book you in May. I said, great, it's February,
Yeah.
And I understood that's why they were doing it. So we were all in this sort of semicircle area around the room, standing in front of our microphones, and would do it kind of like James said yesterday, a radio play, where we would take each scene, do it at least 3 times, and then if the director wanted to do pickups, then Dave would say, hey, just pick up that one line for me, and then we'd move on to the next scene.
Yeah, so that was kind of going to lead into my next question, because when I told my friends and family that I'm going to try to become a YouTuber and try to start doing this, and when I tell them it takes me 6-7 hours to make a 5-minute video, they think I'm crazy. So that was going to be my next question was, so how long does it take to maybe voice over for one episode or even one scene or?
Oh, it varies, but the union rules for animation for union actors is 4 hours.
Okay.
So you have 4 hours to get done what you have to get done. We always completed the episodes early, just slightly early, or sometimes if I was doing a smaller part, like there were several episodes where I just did a few lines as a bounty hunter or as a droid, they would say, okay, well, Anna's done. You're done for the day. And I was like, really? Are you sure? You don't want me to stay for the rest of the, like, I just wanted to hang out and watch the rest of the episode get recorded because they have me. I'm booked out. I can't go work on anything else, and it's fun. So some days I would just hang out and watch from the director's booth and watch the rest of the show.
So basically, then I need my wife to set me a time limit of how long I need to edit it.
You know, I don't think that's a bad idea because I have to self-edit at home, right? I send all my auditions in. Sometimes you have one audition. Sometimes you have 7 auditions in a day. And you can't spend 2 hours on each of them. You have other things to do. So you have to limit yourself, and you have to cut yourself off. And I have found the less editing I do to my auditions, the more raw, the more
real it is.
The more real they sound, you know. And people now they want to hear those breaths and moments in between and reactions, and that's what makes the character real.
Right. So growing up as a young kid, were you like a Star Wars fan or?
Yeah. Yeah, I was a Star Wars fan. I think I saw Return of the Jedi was my first film in the theater, and I still have my trilogy VHS copy.
Nice.
It's like the set, the box set that you fold out the little flaps on the side.
Yep.
And it has pictures of the film. And I would watch Empire over and over again. I just loved Empire. I don't know why. It was probably the Leia and Han story, but I thought it was incredible.
Yeah, Empire is definitely my favorite as well.
Yeah.
So who would you say is your favorite Star Wars character? Other than Duchess, of course.
Other than Duchess, of course, and Obi-Wan Kenobi, because he's my love interest on Clone Wars. Spoiler for those of you who haven't watched the Clone Wars, I think you should watch it.
And shame on you if you haven't.
And because it's good stuff. It's so hard to pick one.
Well, I know you. Okay. Well, let's do it this way. So I know yesterday you had said that you wanted to voice a villain.
Yes.
So let's go to the dark side. So who's your favorite Sith or Imperial or?
I love Darth Vader. I'm a huge Darth Vader fan. And I said yesterday, as far as the Clone Wars goes, Cad Bane was one of my absolute favorite villains. I know that he's not a Sith, but he is the most ruthless bounty hunter. Yeah. And I think Corey Burton did a fantastic job voicing his character. So to see him return in the Book of Boba Fett was amazing.
Yeah, that was awesome. It was great.
Yeah.
So I know we talked off camera about collecting, and you're not really so much a collector.
I'm an emotional collector.
Yes. So explain what that means, and then tell us a little bit more.
So I work on cool projects. I work on a lot of animated shows and video games, so I get things from people from the productions. And like Clone Wars, sometimes Dave would just bring us a box of stuff that was like I got a R2-D2 lunchbox that I gave from Dave to my son, and I was like, "Here, look what Mommy got at work," And that thing got used so many times, but I still have it. Is it worth anything now? No, but it's
something more. It's something.
I'm gonna keep
though.
it, yeah. And I have the figures that he gave that I got from him, as well as just different or cards. So I have trading cards of my character, but not that I purchased, but that someone gave me, and that makes it mean more to me. So I have a shelf of all my stuff, my memories.
Well, I'm going to give you a couple of things. Maybe you could add
Thank you.
So this little shirt, just with my channel on it.
This is fantastic.
And then I got that
Headless Ned Stark.
Yes.
Thank you.
If you ever watched Game of Thrones.
Of course I watched Game of Thrones. I saw Julian Glover yesterday, and I know him from Indiana Jones.
Yep.
I loved him in Indiana Jones. And I remember the day, like, when I realized that he was also in Star Wars. But for some reason, I did not put together that he was Master Pycelle. Maester Pycelle. And so he's like, "Oh, Game of Thrones, too. I did Game of Thrones." I said, "Sir, you are a chameleon. You are such an actor." He goes, "I am an actor." I said, "And a good one." I said, "Thank you so much." Because we're staring at each other all day. Like, I'm signing at one table. He's kind of this way to me. So I said, "I just wanted to come by and say hi. I love your work." And now I love his work even more because I did not put those two actors in the same. Isn't that great when you don't know,
Right.
that they're the same person.
When I saw he was coming to the con, I was like, oh, okay, so he's General Veers, and then same thing. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
So it's funny. So we were down eating dinner a couple nights ago, and he was sitting by himself drinking a glass of wine. So I just went over there and started talking to him.
Yeah.
And I went up to him and said, I just want to let you know that you have a great ass. Because in the one scene, he's like, you can see it, and it was funny. So I talked to him for like a good 10, 15 minutes about it, and he's a great guy though.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
All right, so I got one last question. So
Yes.
other than Star Wars,
Mm-hmm.
what would you say is your favorite role that you've ever portrayed?
I'm going to have to say Leafstotter on Voltron, because I was a huge Voltron fan before I worked on the show.
Yeah.
And I came in and played a few episodes in the last 2 seasons. So I worked really hard. Now that one I did work on at home more than I should have, but I remember when I got the callback, I think I worked on the callback for a good 2 hours before I sent it to my agent. And it was really awesome to get to work on that show.
That's great.
I loved that character. But there's a number of video game characters that I love, like Princess Leia in Disney Infinity. And I play Anna in Metro Exodus, which is a really intense game. And I did 2 games as that character. And
So how different is it filming a animated series compared to like a video game? Or is it very similar?
I mean, there's so much. There's so many lines. Sometimes you'll look at your line counts for video games. It's 194, 200, and then you have to come back multiple days to get all of the lines for just one game. So it's a little bit more intense working on a video game. There's a little bit less time for character work. So you really need to trust your voice director to know, is this going to fit in the scenario that you will ultimately be editing together? And then you just go for it.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I can't thank you enough. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Very nice to meet you.
Very good to meet you.
Yes. You want to plug any Instagram or anything?
Oh, yeah. Come check me out on Instagram. It's @GravyPic, P-I-C. And on Twitter, it's @GravyVoice. And on Facebook, it's @AnnaGraves Voice Actor.
Very good. All right. That's all I got for you guys today. We'll be back at about a couple hours. We'll be doing another live. We're going to be talking about Game of Thrones and Star Wars and whatever was a mashup between that. All right. I'll see you guys later. And don't forget, keep those heads on.
May the Force be with you.
This summer, saddle up in Smashville as the Music City hosts the hottest party of the summer, WWE SummerSlam Nashville. For the first time ever at Nissan Stadium, a little bit country, a little bit rock and roll, a whole lot of kick-ass. WWE SummerSlam, Saturday, July 30th. Tickets on sale now.